What up, YouTubers, YouTubettes? Check out this rock I just found. Real pretty. Anyways, so I'm down on one of my favorite rock hounding beaches, and I come across this, which it's clay under all the rocks from the tide. I mean, there's the bluff, and you can see all the different lines from all the different ice ages when glaciers came and changed the formations. And so anyways, I come across this really red chunk of, it looks like there's a lot of mica and stuff in the sand. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this home and see if I can't turn this into iron. And see if I can make something metal out of it. And so I'm going to harvest some of it, take it home, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I've got it home. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dilute hydrochloric acid, well, normal hydrochloric acid with water in here, and then I'm gonna crush it up so that way it's all down into the sand, because it is sand, it's just in clumps. And then I'm gonna let the hydrochloric acid do its work on separating out the iron from the sand. And so yeah, I'll be back. Well, it's been about 15 minutes. I got a lot of the chunks fairly broke up, and got a pretty good color change going on. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a little quick update. Alright, so here's my liquid. I haven't filtered it, I just poured it out of the bucket. And so now here's my sand. And so for my original water and hydrochloric acid mix, I added about another cup of water to rinse the sand out after I had dumped the liquid out. Then I put some fresh water in to get whatever acids was left in there into here. And so now, as you can tell from what's in here, it looks like I've pretty well got all the rusty looking stuff out that I want. And so basically I'm going to let everything settle in here, and then I'm going to take all the clean liquid off and dump out that last little bit of sand, and so then I'm going to filter it so I've got a clean solution. And I'll be back at that point. Alright, so I'm doing my first filter just to get the sand and stuff out of it. This is all the liquid I've got for probably the few pounds of sand I had gathered. So I'm going to filter all this, and then I'll be back. Alright, so my first filtration's all done. Liquid looks pretty good. Not much for any kind of solids in there. So, now one of the most important things as a metallurgist or anybody who has any inclination to doing this is to know your metal reactivities list. And so what the metals reactivity list says is that anything above iron in this will precipitate iron out of solution. And I happen to have some zinc and aluminum, so I can go ahead and wager that we don't have carbon in there. And so I'm going to go ahead and put some aluminum foil down into my solution, and that should precipitate out anything below it. And so let's see what happens. Alright, I'll start by putting a little bit of baking soda in here. And some foil. And now we wait. I'll be back when this is done. No little black flakes are showing up, so it's working. It's working. Alright, so it's all done reacting now, and as you can see, I've got some flakes in there, And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to filter these all out, dry it, well, rinse it, and then dry it, and then I'm going to put it to some flame, and let's see what we get. So once I get this filtered, I'll be back. So here you can see kind of filtering, and kind of weird, one thing I've noticed is like the solution's kind of thick. I mean, not quite syrupy, but thick. I don't know, I'm just pointing it out because to me it's kind of screwy, because nothing in this that I put in it would coagulate it like this, that I would think, or coagulate's not the right word, but thicken it, you know. Just an observation. Alright, so that's what I got. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in ammonia, just like regular store-bought ammonia. Ammonia will dissolve aluminum and aluminum oxides, but it won't dissolve rust or iron oxide or iron. It can make rust happen faster, but it won't dissolve it. And so, just in case there's any aluminum left in this, it'll remove that and leave any iron, just to prove that all I have in here is iron. And so that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back at that point. Alright, so it's been in here for about 10 minutes now, and as you can see with the coloration of the water, some of it's starting to rust, and so I'd say that's a pretty good indication of the fact that there is iron in here. And so I'm going to go ahead and filter this, and then see if I can melt it into a little button, or a little bead, because there isn't much in here. So, start filtering. Alright, so, it's filtering, and there's not a whole lot in there, but as soon as it's done filtering, I'm going to rinse it, and then we'll melt it down. Well, that's what it turned out to be, not very much. So let's go ahead and melt it. Alright, so you can see I got my stuff in here. Now I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to take it outside, and I'm going to burn it. I have a crucible, but I put precious metals in it, so I don't want to contaminate it. So I made this little rig out of a couple fire bricks, and so I'm going to take this outside and burn it, and see what we get. Weird, it doesn't show up the right color on my camera, stupid camera. Alright, so got a really clean magnet, nothing on it, as you can see. And this, if there's any iron in here, should come right to this thing. That's a good sign. Lots of it went to it, a lot more than I had expected, honestly. I mean, some of this is ash too, but from the paper. But yeah, my original plan was to put it in this jar and then put it in water, and that way the heavy stuff would stay and the iron would, or yeah, the heavy stuff, not like the iron, would stay and the paper would wash away. And I was like, hey, I should try a magnet. So, iron's magnetic. Sorry for that crappy footage right there. Man, that's so cool. Lots of it sticking to this thing. Alright, so now I'm gonna wash it. Alright, so I just put some distilled water I had in here, and just flipping it over and over a few times. Let's pull this puppy out. See what it got. As you can see, it's not much, but from, I mean, basically, if it was just the redness out of that sand. I mean, in theory, you could do this a lot of times to make some, and so it definitely works. So I'm satisfied that it proves that it will work. Well, I'm cool. I'm not cool. I'm happy that it worked out that way. I'm glad with my results. Anyways, till next time, guys. Okay, now I put it in water and washed it, so now you can see the tiny amount I've got. It's not much, but it is there. And that's purified iron from beach sand.